All right, but although we talk about the separation at an analytical level, that there's a that there's a linkage, right, between politics and religion, yet there are very violent and often conflict-driven consequences of the linkage between politics and religion, right? So how do we as social scientists respond to that, the violence and the conflicts that can result as a result of this linkage between the two analytical categories?
Yeah, this is a very interesting question for any student in sociology and anthropology. In sociology and anthropology, we really learn these are, religion as a social. We learn about social institutions. Under that, we learn politics, family, education, state, and all. So there we learn, different them as different entities of the society in the social structure. But practically we see there's, there are subtle and complex interconnections when we look at concept like socialization. So children of any society are socialized according to the culture. In their culture, respective cultures, religion would play a great role. So this thinking has gone into their veins and bloods. So there's a kind of naturally kind of connection, a loyalty towards primordial attachment towards the religion. But what I was trying to highlight here is that religion would not operate in a vacuum. It is again interconnected with other primordial loyalties, ethnicity, caste, even achieved statuses like class and all. So when it comes to a critical moment, there's a group of, these are not really natural, constructed, invented tradition, and there's a group who really mobilize these people. So when they mobilize, they connect the religious aspect with some other aspects. For an example, let's say, Sinhalese are attacked, Muslims are attacked. When you call, when you say Muslim, it is connected with religion as well as ethnicity. So the power, the anger generates is higher than a situation that you really refer to ethnicity, religion alone. So yeah, so that is why a lot of violence are there, and again it is connected with politics. So yeah.
Nirmal, what do you say from about the consequences of the interconnection between religion and politics?
No, well, if you are a student of something, of course, you have to, your fundamental desire is to understand as it is something, But at the same time, you also have a desire to achieve what is, what you imagine, right? So as a student, it may not be that much, advisable to, thinking in terms of, the total separation, because when there's no separation, you have to understand, the whole. But at the same time, if you want to achieve something, right? So if you want to, so it's a different approach, right? So now, if you are thinking in terms of achieving certain religious goals, right? And then if you are thinking in terms of achieving certain political goals, right? So then you have to look at the practical side. Then you can think of the particular, the religiousization of particular political practice is advisable at the end of the day to achieve certain goals. For example, if you want to, if you desire for democratization, for example, that is the achieving, the democratic, what we call democratic in politics, right? So then, so what are the pluses and minuses of a particular political practice being religious, right? So then it goes something, it's different from, the understanding something as it is. And so then you propose something, right? So then, for example, you mentioned about the violence and politics, right? So now when you look at the certain violent practices, especially the certain structural logic that that help perpetuation of the violence, the religious is fundamental, the very important aspect, because so there's a subtle, on one hand, the religion sort of represent certain high norms at the same time, so they can be even equally more violent, right? So because there's the space for exclusion, so then you in religious you can easily define demarcate the realm of self, the other, right? So then when you exclude the self, so your violence against the other is justified,
yes,
right? So which lead to kind of violent relationship between the self and the other, right? So then this become a political issue. It's become political, especially when you need when you have to accommodate certain excluded groups, for example. So then it's might be this might create a kind of practical need to think in terms of think of separation, a practical kind of separation between the realm of religion and realm of politics, for example, right? So that's how I feel that it is not. But when you understand as a student, of course, you have to have a kind of holistic approach.
I think you raise an important fact in terms of the kind of graduate we also want to produce, while at the same time we want our students and our graduates to have a complete and a good understanding analytically. We also want them to be intervening in society, not just to be passive sort of observers. So in that sense, they need to translate this knowledge and the awareness that they are gaining out of the course into being socially responsible citizens. So in those kinds of situations, they need to take an active and proactive role in kind of intervening meaningfully in society as well. So I think, Nirmal, your point is well taken, but I would like Professor Premakumara to maybe give the final wrap up, of how do we engage further with this issue, not just as students of sociology and anthropology, but also as meaningful, responsible citizens.
But I think, as we mentioned at the beginning, of course, religion is a very, very important phenomena in our day-to-day life, even if you look at the history of the mankind. So it's a very complex and very very interesting phenomena, which we cannot actually neglect it in our everyday association, in a society, in a culture. So I think as a sociologist and as anthropologists, we would definitely look at that in our own perspectives. So we just wanted to convey our message to actually students to just not look at the religion in sort of a kind of value free in a way, as far as you can, because any attachment, anything, any value, of course, you given to your own religion or other religion, so might not actually help us to sort of understanding religion in a sociological and anthropological manner. So we had to be, as far as we had to be very sort of a neutral. We had to analyze this phenomena in a very kind of a very neutralized way. So that is what I think overall, if you look at religion, politics, secularism, violence, and of course fundamentalism, all sort of a concept which is very much connected with the religion, can be understood fruitfully in a sociological and anthropological sense.
Okay, thank you very much. That brings us to the end of our final episode on religion, culture and society. I would like to thank the panelists for their wonderful insights and contribution, and I really hope that you enjoy and you use these things meaningfully, and that this will help you to further your understanding of religion, culture and society. So thank you, Professor Premakumara, Dr. Devasiri and Dr. Piyaratne. Thank you very much for your participation.